dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yup, what's good, original crew? Yeah. It's your boy DJ Dookie, your girl.
Sierra Nicole.
Back on the channel with another.
I'm not. I don't.
Tell her, y'all.
Kid and C original.
Wow, trifling, bruh. Y'all know who the trifling one is over here. Y'all don't have to put trifling in the comment section.
Y'all better not put no trifling.
Spam it up. Spam trifling, good for nothing type of what? Spam it up in the comments. But we're back with Mr. Ballen, bro. We got the latest vid for y'all, man. They didn't know they were being watched. Do any of us ever know we're being watched? Because there's always, 9 times out of 10, everyone has been watched before.
Yeah, most definitely.
9 times out of 10, that's the scariest shit to ever know.
Yeah.
At some point in your life, you were being watched. In any shape, form, or fashion. Even if you was on the playground, the teacher had to watch you. You were being watched.
Bruh, you can't take nothing serious. Come on. Come on.
Oh, man. So with that being said, make sure y'all check out the links in the description box.
Down below.
You already know where to go, man. You want the first part, all you got to do is check out down below. Also, if you enjoyed today's video, always
lock it in with a thumbs up.
You like, I ain't know where you going.
I know, I was going along with it.
Even in daycare.
Baby.
Your mama trusted them because they knew you were being watched.
Wow.
So again, at some point in your life, just know somebody was watching you. You didn't even know.
Wow.
You thought you was over there being naughty. That's why you got a spanking when you came. You were being watched. Let's go. Let's check it out. Let's see what it's about, man. Did we already tell them to check out the links? Yeah. Oh, okay. Just make sure.
If you haven't heard about what happened at the Gay Pride Parade in the Netherlands, it's likely because you haven't seen the infamous security footage that's currently going viral on Reddit and other places on the internet. Today, I'm going to show you portions of that security footage and tell you the story about what's really happening so you have context and can really appreciate what you're seeing. But before we get into that story, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place because that's all we do, and we upload once a week. So if that's of interest to you, please swap out all of the Pop-Tarts in the like button's pantry for the unfrosted kind. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. Okay, let's get into today's story.
Don't try to do no disrespectful shit like that, bro. Everybody like the frosted. If you don't like
that time I was looking for them Pop-Tarts and I would not stop until I found the ones with the front because they changed them.
Yeah. But hey, everybody know the best Pop-Tart is the frosted strawberry Pop-Tart. Don't come over here talking about some blueberry. You nasty, bro. It's the frosted strawberry Pop-Tart. You warm it up, you can eat it cold. It's good as either way you want to go. Even with milk, it's fine.
On September 27th, 2018, in a little city in the Netherlands, a security camera captured 6 men walking calmly toward this brick bungalow inside one of the country's holiday parks. A holiday park is a place that offers cheap accommodations to tourists. They typically have things like campsites, RV parking, cheap bungalows for rent, and they also often offer things like swimming and golfing and bowling, so it's kind of like an all-in-one for families on vacation. But on this September day, these 6 men caught on camera were neither family nor on vacation. Instead, as they walked, it was very clear from their body language that the only thing they were interested in was getting inside of their holiday bungalow. Once they did reach the front door of this bungalow, the apparent leader of the group, who had dark brown hair and a full beard, he pulled out a key, unlocked the door, he opened it up, and then he made sure the rest of the men took off their shoes before walking inside. And then once all the men were inside the door, the leader shut the door and locked it behind them, and then barefoot they walked through the hallway into this corner living room in the back of the bungalow. And in this room there was this L-shaped couch that was centered on a coffee table and a couple of chairs scattered throughout the rest of the room. And so the 6 men kind of took up seats in these different places, and then after they were all sitting down, 2 of the men who had been seen walking into the bungalow carrying backpacks and duffel bags, they pulled those bags out and set them on the coffee table. And as soon as these 2 men did that, the other 4 men who had been chatting amongst themselves went completely silent and turned and just faced the bags on the table. It was very clear that whatever was in the bags was very significant. So significant, in fact, that the group had pulled most of the curtains across all of the windows inside of this bungalow to make sure no one outside could look in and potentially see the contents of these bags. And once the 2 men unzipped the duffel bags and backpack and began putting the contents of the bags onto the table, it became incredibly clear why the men were so on edge. Inside of these bags were guns, and in the Netherlands, no private citizen is allowed to possess them. Over the next hour, the 2 men who had actually carried the guns into the bungalow, they began going over some instruction with the other 4 men of how to use these slick black pistols and AK-47 rifles. They taught them how to load the guns and reload and how to aim, and they did a number of dry firing exercises, which is basically pulling the trigger on any real gun when the gun is not loaded. And so these 4 students paid careful attention to their 2 instructors, and at some point they became more confident, and you could just see the excitement was building in the room. At one point, one of the students grabbed 2 of the AK-47 rifles and held one in each arm and pretended to fire them simultaneously, like you would see in the Rambo movies. But when one of the 2 instructors reached back into one of these bags and pulled out a new item, a vest, and laid it on the coffee table, immediately the mood in the room shifted again. Now the students seemed more nervous than excited. One of the 4 students eventually walked forward and somewhat reluctantly extended his arm to allow the instructor to slip the vest onto him. And then
My God, that's a bomb vest, right?
What are we doing?
Isn't that a bomb vest?
At first I thought so, but then I was like, oh.
That's the reason why they all kind of changed their demeanor. Cause
Yeah,
they
I was like, wait a minute.
I don't want to be the one that,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, death ain't no return. I'm not doing no, I don't care. It must be,
Yeah.
I don't give a I'm built different.
once the vest was put on the student, you can see in the camera footage, there are pockets all over this vest with little wires poking out of them. This vest was a suicide vest, and the pockets contained explosives. As one of the instructors showed the student in the vest which cord to pull in order to detonate himself, you can hear in the background someone saying, "When the police come, you can take them with you." A little over 2 hours later, the 6 men were done, and they began packing up their arsenal of new weapons back into the bags, and then they stood up to leave. But when they left, it was the students who had the bags of weapons, not the 2 instructors. Once the 6 men had left the bungalow and were back outside again, they put their shoes back on, they locked the bungalow behind them, and then the 2 instructors were seen on camera walking away from the bungalow to a separate car. They drove off, and then the 4 men that now had the weapons, they walked to a nearby white cargo van, which contained one other man who had not been inside of the bungalow with them, but he was very much a part of this group. He was their driver. And so as the 4 men with guns approached the white van, the driver saw them, he climbed out, he ran around to the back and opened up the back doors that led into the windowless back cargo area of the van. And the 4 men with guns, they climbed inside, the driver shut the van, climbed back into the driver's seat, and then before long, the driver was leaving the parking lot and heading north towards the city of Amsterdam, which is the capital of the Netherlands. Every year, Amsterdam plays host to one of the largest gay pride parades and events in the world. The location is significant to the LGBTQ community because it was here in 2001 that the first gay marriage bill was signed into law, making the Netherlands the first country in the world to legalize gay marriage. So, for 1 week a year, hundreds of thousands of people pour out onto the streets and line the canals of Amsterdam, all drawn together to affirm gay rights and to celebrate their sexual expression, preference, and identity. And the men in the white windowless van intended to use their new weapons and training to kill or maim as many parade goers as possible. They were hopeful that their terrorist attack would rival or even eclipse the attack from 2015 in Paris in a nightclub that killed or injured more than 500 people and sent shockwaves through Europe.
Did you know about that?
I know about that. I didn't know about the story that he's telling now.
Nah, I didn't know.
Never
I
heard
didn't.
that, but
I
yeah,
want
know
to say
about
I
this.
heard about the French one. I didn't know I don't know the details.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I don't know
but
the
you know, in
full,
America,
but yeah.
we're dealing with that right now, and have dealt with it even in past.
That's so sad. Like,
Bro,
what?
I didn't know. Listen to the podcast the other day. I didn't know in America there has been 600.
Yeah, you told me
Well, I'll tell you.
about the shooting. You told me.
It's been over 600 mass shootings
Yeah.
this year. I said 600 this year. That is crazy,
It's
bro.
insane.
And it's like, we ain't heard about 600 mass shootings. Like, how? That's like 200 hold on. Calculation off. That's like 50 a month?
Yeah.
Because that's 12 months. My calculations off.
Regardless of the fact, it's too many. One too many. Like, regardless.
Yeah, it's around like 50 something a month,
Mm-hmm.
but that is bizarre, bro.
That's
like,
crazy.
what's wrong with people? Like, if you got a problem, don't take your problems out on other people. Like, nobody's bothering you. If you can't stand it, especially if you're gonna wear the vest and stuff, just do yourself, bro. Like, ain't no point of these folks ain't harming you.
Facts.
Like, that's so crazy, bro.
Killed or injured more than 500 people and sent shockwaves through Europe. 30 minutes later, the four men in the back of this windowless van felt the van slow down and pull off the main road and not come to a complete stop, but just kind of begin to slow roll, which was odd because they had no reason to slow down and they were at least 30 minutes away from their destination. And so instinctively, the men reach down and make sure their guns are safely stowed inside of their bags and out of sight in case somebody opens the back door. They don't want people to know they have guns. They are illegal. And so as the van continued to go painfully slowly for really no reason that was clear, the men in the back of the van were really starting to worry that something was wrong. Now remember, they have no windows. They can't look outside. They don't know what's going on. However, there was a small crack in the partition that separated the back of the van from the front of the van where the driver was. And so the men in the back of the van began craning their necks and looking through this little crack to try to see if they could understand what was in front of the van and, why the driver had stopped. And when these men looked through that little crack and they saw what was out there, they immediately began to panic. They began reaching down and fumbling for their bags, trying to open them up to get their guns. And then by the time they're kind of getting the guns into their hands, all the doors on the van fly open and the men in the back just begin firing their guns blindly at the open doors. But when they pull their triggers, nothing happens because their guns were fake. They had been sold to them by the people who were flinging open their doors, the police in tactical gear with their dogs, and they knew these guys had fake guns. They knew their suicide vests were fake. They were full of fake explosives. They have nothing lethal inside of this van. And so the police, they just fling the doors open and send in the dogs. And so the dogs, they jump into this van and these wannabe terrorists are screaming and they're firing their fake guns at the dogs as the dogs are shredding these terrorists to bits. And then whenever they tried to jump out, the police would just pistol whip the terrorists until finally all of these wannabe terrorists were in the fetal position crying, or they were crouched down with their hands over their head. It would turn out the two instructors who had brought the duffel bags of guns into the bungalow with the other men, they were not other fellow terrorists. They were undercover police officers who were a part of the special national anti-terrorism team who were able to infiltrate this terrorist cell. These undercover cops were the ones who sold the fake guns and fake explosives to the terrorists, and they were the ones who set up this meeting at the bungalow, which allowed them to place cameras and listening devices all over the place. Plus, they were also able to bug the white van because they knew they would be departing the bungalow inside of it. So all the wannabe terrorists that you saw on camera, plus two others that were not seen on camera but were totally involved, were all sentenced on October 8th, 2020 to anywhere from 10 to 17 years in prison. Meanwhile, the Amsterdam Pride Parade went off without a hitch. So that's going to do it. If you got something out of this episode and you haven't done this already, please replace all of the Pop-Tarts.
That's what they get. Because, like, what's...
I'm replacing no parts of it. I'm just playing because...
No, but I said that's what they get. Like, what's the point in doing it? Like you said earlier, no one's bothering you. Like, live your life and let other people live their life. What's the point in going open fire on people trying to have a good time, just minding their business, living their life, happy? What I don't get it. I really don't get why other people's lifestyle bother other people so much.
And to be completely honest, I don't think they got enough time.
10 to 17 years is not enough time.
Because they still can get out with that same mindset. Because at the point, especially the one that was going to wear the vest, he ain't had nothing to lose. He was willing to die.
Right?
So,
ain't that crazy?
So if you willing to die right now, like...
If anything,
we know you're going to change your mind to the point where I'm willing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't see him changing his thoughts and opinions. But I'm glad y'all was caught.
Yeah.
I wish more stuff can happen like that. And to be real, like,
to the point where it's like prevented and stopped.
Not even that, because I'm finna go into another theme, but you know that brings in weird people and their weird thoughts.
Yeah. Well, let's not go there then.
Yeah, but because something has to be done about so many situations like this, or even any kind of terrorist attack or hate crime that's going on people who are just living their lives. They're not most of the terrorist or hate attacks. Attacks never are on people that physically have came across the individual that have done the attacks. Most of the time, it be random people who have never even heard of you, never crossed your path, don't know nothing about you. Yeah. That for weird reasons have lost it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They lose their life because your weird thoughts and opinions that you have in your head that you can't get out of your head. Yeah. Those sometimes, honestly, bro, go see therapy because just know it's not normal. And you at the moment, if you having those thoughts and opinions, just know you're not being normal right now. You need help. You need because you have a mental issue at this point. Not being not trying to be disrespectful or anything, but go seek help. They have help for that. Anytime, come on now, We see this too often, too common, especially nowadays. And it's you hear about it, and the next day you just go back to living your life. Just go,
and then another situation occur.
And we
that's
just
so sad. Oh my gosh, it breaks my heart. And then you just go back to living your life. I'm just this is not supposed to be what the
life
norm. This is not life. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be like that. But
we be impacted for the moment, and it's the world stops for that brief moment. When you find out. Yeah.
And I guess for a lot of people like this, just on the outside looking in, when situations happen, it's oh, well, it's not happening to anyone I know or person, so it doesn't hit home for some people. So they just that's sad. But then they just go back to living life. And I'm just that's not how it's supposed to be, regardless. You know what I'm saying? We're not. Because it could happen to anyone. So.
We're not on this earth to just be cut down short like that and just
most definitely
and slaughtered. It's like you being slaughtered and just you know what I'm saying.
That's
I don't
sad.
know, man.
It's super sad.
But I am glad they did get caught. I'm glad it didn't because it could have been way worse. They were in the mindset of they were finna go out with a blaze and they were willing to die, and those be
Behind
radicals.
it, that's crazy.
Like when people are that crazy to the point they willing to die for whatever, and then they
Like
be
you
going
said-
out here seeking other people who think the same way
The
they
same-
think. That's how
That's
you
what's-
know
that's
something's
what's-
wrong with you, because
that's-
you like nobody's thinking the way I'm thinking, so I have to go find these people who think.
Then y'all be in these little hate groups and stuff, and chatting away and meeting and secret, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Man.
But yeah, I'm glad they were caught though.
But yeah, hey man, spam us up. Let us know
Yes.
y'all thoughts and opinions. I know a lot of y'all have some thoughts, man. But as always, y'all know how it go. I do go with the name DJ the Kid. This is
See, y'all call me
we are.
shit.
We are,
Had to
y'all.
go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack and flip for my foes. Dollar, 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 dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and